The Flamarrion Engraving, the woodcut, named simply because of its first documented appearance back in 1888, is still today one of the most widely studied and reproduced historical interpretations of man's quest for knowledge of the universe. First discovered in Camille Flammarion's 1888 book conveniently entitled The Atmosphere, Popular Meteorology, Flammarion himself was a French astronomer, as they all are. A prolific author of more than 50 titles, including science works all about astronomy. Now, the original Latin picture translates to a medieval missionary tells that he has found the point where the heaven and the earth meet. Now, friends, did Flammarion produce the image himself to postulate the fact that medieval Europeans widely believed the earth to be correctly flat? During the 19th century, Romantic conception of a European Dark Age gave much more prominence to the flat earth than it ever produced historically. This widely circulated woodcut of a man poking his head through the firmament of a flat earth to actually view the mechanics of the earth, executed in the style of the 16th century, cannot be traced back to an earlier source. But the woodcut illustrates the statement in the text that the medieval missionary claimed that he had reached the horizon point where the earth and the heavens met. An anecdote that may be traced back to Voltaire, but not back to any known medieval source. In its original form, the woodcut includes a decorative border that places it in the 19th century. But in later publications, some claiming that the woodcut did in fact date back to the 16th century. But the decorative border surrounding the engraving is distinctively, friends, non-medieval, and it was only by cropping it that the confusion about the historical origins of the image became possible. But in any case, no source of the image earlier than Flammarion's book is actually known. Now, in the book The Atmosphere, Flammarion never discusses the history about the shape of the earth, but rather his text suggests that the image is an illustration of the view of the sky as an opaque barrier, a domed sky, if you will. Flammarion also mentioned in the same story nearly the same words in many of his other works. And the story goes, a naive missionary, a traveller of the Middle Ages, tells us that in one of his voyages in search of the terrestrial paradise, he reached the horizon where the earth and the heavens met, and that he discovered a certain point where they were not joined together, and where by stooping his very shoulders he passed under the roof of the heavens. Also in Imaginary Worlds and Real Worlds, 1864, even before Flammarion's 1888 classic, he cites the legend of a Christian saint telling the story of 3 monks who wished to discover the point where the sky and the earth touch. He remarks the preceding monks hoped to go to heaven without leaving the earth, to find the place where the sky and the earth touch, to open the mysterious gateway which separates this world from the other world. Such is the cosmographical notion of the universe, it is always the terrestrial valley crowned by the canopy of the heavens, friends, because heaven can only sit above a flat, stable earth. It seems quite clearly that Flammarion wanted this image in the minds of his readers, his students, and his successors. This image is so much more, friends, than what meets the eye. Flammarion does not categorise the engraving as a medieval or a Renaissance woodcut, and the mistaken interpretation of the engraving as an older work did not actually occur until after Flammarion's passing. But one thing is for sure, he wanted us to understand this truth, the truth to this magnificent artwork that you see before you, and so do others. This interpretation of the Flamarrion engraving, the Earth, was used for the animated sequence of the TV series Cosmos: A Space-Time Odyssey, hosted by Mr. Pear Earth himself, Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, and that TV show was dedicated to the popularization of science and astronomy, showing you the truth, and then blinding you with the science fiction lies of space exploration. Seth MacFarlane also serves as an executive producer to the show. And the Flamarrion engraving has also appeared on the cover of Daniel J. Borstein's best-selling history of science book, The Discoverers. There are many other books with the Flamarrion engraving as a cover, because the image needs to be injected into our minds and has been for over 100 years, from the original 1888 black and white woodcut version to the 1998 recoloured version. This is, friends, one of the most incredible pieces of flat earth history and truth that we see before ourselves. A real picture that hides 1,000 words. So much controversy and mysterious circumstances that surround it today more than ever before. Who really made it? Where did it come from? Was the border added? Who was the monk? And was it actually created for the National Geographic Society that was founded in Washington back in 1888? We may never know, but this woodcut artwork is generally overlooked for a proof of a flat earth, yet it shows you the inner workings and the outer workings of Earth. The people, the sun, the stars are all inside with the tree of life, all inside of the firmament that surrounds us on Earth, also known, friends, as our atmosphere. It's been featured right in front of our eyes for many, many years. The Flamarrion engraving, this woodcut, is explaining in very much detail our atmosphered Earth, and it's that simple. It's believed that many of the illustrations for Flammarion's books were engraved from his very own drawings, probably under his supervision. Therefore, one could say it is plausible that Flamarrion himself could have created this masterpiece of truth. Though the evidence for this still will always remain circumstantial, if he did not create it, then where did it come from? Further research concluded that it actually had been carved with a burin, a type of tool used for wood engraving since the late 18th century. So it is likely that Flamarrion could have created the image specifically for the book The Atmosphere, to tell us what is really going on right in front of our eyes. But this we can never know conclusively, friends. But we do have the masterful engraving reminding us all of the fundamental difference between scientific and religious world views, with science explaining the truth behind our plain earth reality. God did not create religion, friends. Man did. And real science is not science fiction. There are no walls in the atmosphere. Thank you very much for joining me. What do you see? What does the Flamarrion engraving mean to you? Please let me know in the comments below. This was Nee B. You take care. Peace and luck and love on the plane. And hit the sub and knots if you like what you see. Ta-ta for now.